Hello, everyone. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 17 of Fabrically Speaking Live. I'm your host, Clare Rowley, and today we're going to talk about die cutting, and I'm probably going to do some sewing as well. I've been really excited to show you guys more about this, and now that we have it on our website, all good to go, you can order them again. Because we did have a new website open and it took us a little while to get them up. So I've got a messy table as usual. Hi, Lee from Australia and Lorinda from Oregon. Brenda from Daly City, Kentucky, and Eve from California. Hi, you guys. So nice to have you with me again today. Actually, my table isn't that messy. It's an organized mess. Do any of you have a die cutting system for your sewing? I was thinking about doing the Dresden plate and actually sewing it out. We'll see. I have it. And it's usually a bit challenging to get all your pieces, if you were to cut this shape out, to get all of the rounded pieces to line up mathematically so that they're exactly the same size shapes going all the way around and that the center part equals an actual circle. And I was actually a part of the development of the fabric dies called Fab Dies with Crafter's Edge. Their owner hired me to be a consultant, and I'm the one that chose the color of the Crafter's Edge machine, which is called the Crossover 2. And that's because they used to have another machine called the Crossover 1. So this is the upgraded version, and it has all steel gears inside, and it has a little handle that you can actually retract so that you can get it out of your way and not have it stick out. So make sure when you do, it has this spinning capability. Make sure when you store it that you do store it with the handle put away. I haven't done this in a while. I can't remember how to do it. It comes with instructions. And it also comes with one die. They call it a mystery die. And you don't have to worry about accidentally buying it because they don't sell the die that they include in the actual package. The dies come in boxes, but they're really not big. They're really thin like this. And unlike steel rule dies, they don't hurt you. They're made out of steel, so you don't have to worry about them breaking. And inside they have felt pads to keep them safe in shipping. Where's the end that opens? I haven't opened this one. So if you have a die cutting machine, what kind do you have and are you happy with it? Let me get something to open this with. There we go. There we go. So you just pull this out, and inside they also give you little projects on like the applique dies. And this is the actual die set for the Dresden plate. They give you more than one size so that you can have more fun with the design. And these are reclosable. I like how small they are, so that you can store like 100 dies in a space that wide instead of like the steel rule dies, which those are really big and they're in a fixed position, so you can't really fussy cut with them. These are the ultimate fussy cutters, or fussy cutting dies. have anything with a duck design. Let's see. So if you want to cut your Dresden plate and you want to have the center be this flower, then you can just position it right over the flower, and every one of your centers, if that is what you choose to do, will have that cute little flower center, and you don't have to worry and kind of search and hope that you hit that when you cut it like you do with a steel roll die. Hi, Julie. My right eye is twitching all of a sudden. I have my cell phone so I can see the chat up close, which I have to learn how to use, but I think I'll do a lot better than trying to look so far away. Okay. Since I don't really need this, actually, I was going to have this on. Can this start? Start. It's funny because it seems like things should work and then they don't, and I'm lost as to why they don't work yet, but it'll get better. So I can get this thing. This just makes it so I don't mess up. Think I'm filming the right camera and then not. All right, here we go. We'll get this out of sight. Is it raining or snowing anywhere? My daughter just sent me a video yesterday of it snowing. And today, my day started at 40 degrees. And it's going up to 85 degrees here. That's a huge jump in one day. It is nice that you can use these dyes for paper as well as for fabric. And you can use this machine with dyes from other machines. So if you have some steel roll dyes, well, you can use them on here. And this may be a little loud as I open it. And it opens up like that. See if I can get a good angle. I'm so excited because they have some new dyes. So on our site, you'll see the new ones. It also comes with a plate and this clear cover that you're going to put over the top with your fabrics inside. And it comes with a metal plate as well. And this is what you need in addition to the muscle of this machine in order to cut through up to 7 layers of fabric at a time. Flood warning. Ugh. It was raining here yesterday. Now we have beautiful blue skies. Springtime is always so unpredictable, isn't it? Hi, Dinah from Louisiana. Welcome. So this is a steel plate, and these are very affordable, so if you want to get a new one, you can. But know that I have used and used and used my plate, and you can see how it's dented. Pretty intense how much I've done on this, but this is what I used to make my quilt. So this quilt is incorporated with a bunch of squares that I then turned into quarter square triangles. And if I had to cut each one of these little triangles out one at a time, I would have, well, let's just say I don't have the patience for that. Do you guys have the patience to cut out that much? Some people do, and my hands kind of get sore. Hi, Marcia from Oklahoma. Welcome. So this will be done. I feel like I'm getting closer to having the time to finish it. I have a brand new item that just arrived. It arrived yesterday. Isn't that something else? It is a sewing machine. It's the Eversewn sewing machine that we are now going to be carrying at creativefeet.com. I'm going to be doing a box opening, or an unboxing as they call it. I'm going to keep this plate real clean so I can show you what they look like when you receive them. There's nothing to be ashamed of if yours end up looking all rough like mine. It means you're using the product. And that's what we're supposed to be doing. So you guys get to choose. I can sew like a piece of the Drunkard's Path, and this is the Drunkard's Path die, or we can do a Dresden plate and I can actually sew it out. And another thing that you can do with this is you can actually fuse it to Timtex and then cut through it with the fabric attached to the Timtex already. So that saves you having to cut twice and then line it up and try to iron something evenly. A die cutting machine replaces the need of using templates like this and setting them down on fabric and then cutting around, or tracing first and then cutting around. A heart is a very popular shape, and we do have a variety of different heart dies available at creativefeet.com. Whoopsie. So one of the things I wanted to do today was show you a little bit of needle turn or patchwork applique. And this is a product by Applique. These are pre-cut stabilizers of her wonderful stabilizers for doing needle turn applique. And you can use the die cutting machine with her stabilizer instead of having to pay for them to cut those out for you. You can cut them yourself. Amy, yes, the Eversewn machine is a really neat machine or a company, because what they do is they don't require me to be a sewing machine dealer. So I can actually offer you a sewing machine without having to actually have a brick and mortar store, which I didn't just buy the machine because of that, though. I actually tested the machine out and met the owner of the company, and they work fabulous with the Creative Feet products. I was very impressed with the quality of the sewing machine, and I get asked all the time about sewing machines. But this video today is not on that machine. Just thought I'd let you know that's coming soon. I dropped a die, so we'll see if I can find it. Okay, so I'm not sure if the Dresden plate comes with what you need to do the needle turn or not. Looks like you can. So the center of a Dresden plate is usually, well, a lot of people just applique using them traditionally. But we can sew the pieces together all the way around, and then the center piece usually sits on top. And some people will just applique around, but you can also use needle turn and have that be an invisible stitch on the top side, which is what we do with the Applique tools. We're able to turn the fabrics under and glue them down onto her stabilizer, and then we glue them down again with our liquid-based glue, and then you can use the Satinedge Foot and zip around using my invisible applique technique, which is done using invisible thread, which is also available on our site. We use nylon invisible thread as well. I think I might have mixed up my kit, because we also have die sets for the geometric shapes, or they call them utility dies. Let me show you the site and show you how it's broken down so that you can see. Now, right here, I'm at the school. Somebody was like trying to live chat in the school. So you gotta make sure you're actually on our video. This is the Creative Feet site. And we have it broken down by products. If you go to tools, you'll find the Crafter's Edge machine. Because it is a tool, right? It replaces scissors, which is another tool. And that may be the die you get, because people got frustrated because we didn't know what the die looked like. That may be your free die. And you can also they also sell additional plates to make it so that it's the right thickness for your dies if you have a die set. There is a video, and I can't play that right now, that I've done already on unboxing of the Crafter's Edge Crossover 2 machine. So if you haven't seen it yet, be sure to see that or check it out. So go back to products and tools, and you'll find the dies. And inside of here, they're broken down by the applique dies, which these are a variety of different dies that you don't have to cut out, and you can do applique in just a few minutes. These tabs, you click on them and it opens up even more. And they actually have not the mask that I created a pattern for, but this is a very popular mask design. Hopefully we won't need them anymore. This is the one you saw on the video image. This one's really cute. This is the Tooth Fairy. So it's a Tooth Fairy pillow that you have the child put the Tooth Fairy or the tooth in the little pocket and then put it under their pillow. This is one of my favorites, this butterfly. I want to ink some fabric and then fussy cut on using the dies. I think would be a great way of working in conjunction with our other products. A little poinsettia looking. And then, of course, holidays. The utility dies and quilting dies. This is all the different sizes of circles you get in the circle set. And it says on there how many, which you could probably see better than I can because I have that screen really far away from me. There's even a strip set for cutting strips out. So you can do your own jelly rolls quicker. And then, of course, rectangles and different styles of triangles. This one has the points cut off, which makes this great for working whenever you're told to cut off the top of something. And this particular thing is what we would use for making your hexie quilts and being able to cut out your fabric and your inside fabric because they give you different sizes, or your stabilizer. All right, enough of that. I wanted to be ready with the fabric that I was going to use, but I wasn't. That doesn't mean I don't have fabric handy. Clearly I do. So what color do you guys want me to stitch? Hi, Pearl. Welcome. And Sharon. There's a lot more of you today. The full moon was amazing. Did any of you get really good pictures of the full moon? There that is. I was looking all over for that. Don't you love it when you find something you couldn't find because you look for something else? This is my lesson on paper piecing, foundation paper piecing. And we have new rulers that we're about to add to the site. We're in the process of adding. To help you with that, and I'm going to be doing a video on that that's edited. It's not a live video, but an edited version coming up very soon. Let's see. I've really been using this fabric a lot lately. This is what I used for my purse. If you didn't catch last week's episode of Fabrically Speaking Live. This is the clutch that I made. And I taught quite a bit of different techniques in that. This kind of goes pretty with that, doesn't it? You can even use little scraps like this to cut, especially when your little petals are only this small. And you can take and place it like that and then go 1, 2, 3, and see if you can fit that many on that folded up piece of fabric. And that's all you would need to do to cut 4 different ones out. So there's not as much waste of fabric as well with this. I think I'm going to do that. I like this fabric so much. If I do a small Dresden plate, it won't take as long. I think this whole system is the perfect Mother's Day gift, if I didn't already have it. So let's see. I think I'm going to use that as the center. And I want one other fabric to go around so that it's not just, actually could do like they have on their design. They have the Dresden plate with, where's the box? Now they use 2 fabrics for the petals and then a different one for the center. This is the Crafter's Edge, and this is the Crossover 2 machine. And I don't know if I shared this with you or not. I think I did. I was on like this. So you can just fold your fabrics over, and as long as that fits, you can do it. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that and choose what other fabrics I want after that and clear the area. Let's see if I can give you a good angle on this. One of the unique features of this machine is it has a tension setting. And the tension setting is right here. So this is one of the features, Amy, Better Days, that sets this apart from other machines. You have the ability to set the spacing between the rollers with this adjustable dial here. This is how you set the actual space or pressure that's going to be applied. Probably should move my cutter pillar off the table. It's a big machine when you're trying to position it on the table, but in reality it's very small, but it's very heavy because it's made out of steel. The leading edge of this white pad, I don't think that's what they call it, you lay down first, and then you can kind of see if it's how it's going to fit in there. And I don't think this is the one that came with it. So if I were going to use this with a machine or with other dies, first off, we have, this is probably the Go platform. That's what that's called. And I need to use the one for the machine, which I must have somewhere else. I hate to put you through this, but I'm going to step away for just a second and find the one that's right for the machine. Not put you through this searching that I do sometimes. like it. Oh, I'm having a really hard time finding it, you guys. I keep getting shocked by my camera switcher. Help me find it. I know that if you were here, you guys would know right where I put it. The problem is I sell all the different ones. I'm trying to think if there's anything I have that will make that thicker, because that's really what we're needing to do. So I could get some paper and it will increase or decrease the amount of space between it. I'm like, I didn't even try it with the plate. It might be right. You may be the right one after all. And then once you put it in there, you go like this, and once the dye is there, that's what makes it fill up. I didn't have the right amount there. Let's see if there's a way for you to see this better. I want to do the big one, but I'm going to do the small one because I usually go too long on these Thursdays, don't I? I can't believe how patient you guys are and how you hang out with me for so long. Since this shape is the same, it doesn't matter how I position the fabric, so I can do what I call an accordion fold. But if you have a fabric that if you have a shape like a letter, and they do have the entire alphabet, by the way. So if you need to make banners, let me get the top going here. My little button thing. I'm full of static electricity today. See if I can plug this back in and it will work. I kept shocking it. I don't know. I don't think it's going to turn back on. I have another way of switching. It'll just be a little bit more awkward. All right, so just go like that. And you make sure that you're on the fabric 100%. And I could just cut that, but I could also take this fabric, which I think maybe this would be really nice. I can use it for the center and the others by choosing and do a fussy cut, because I think I'd like to have the center be dark purple. And this is the center for this. There's a lot more fabric than I need to go under there. Let's see. Now, if I were going to make something, I'd probably want more than just one. But if I only do one, I won't get carried away and do too much today. We can take and we can put that one in there too. So if you get one of the applique ones and there's a whole bunch of different pieces or shapes for the animal, like they have owls as well, then you can put all of them in there. It does still feel like it's too... It is definitely not the right one. So I'm going to show you how you would handle it. This is probably a good opportunity for me to show you. If you have a ream of paper, then you can grab a whole bunch of paper and adjust the height of that, and that's what I'm going to do. I'll be right back. So that adjustment is for pressure, how hard it pushes down. And this is going to help me make it fit. And this is what you would do if you have a die and or a system already for another machine. You can give it a try first. And now that makes this thicker. Felt like the camera moved. Got a little distracted because of that. So what we have is we have the flat side of the die, and then the cutting part has a little ridge on it. So you can see it's not a very big ridge, but it is enough to cut 7 layers at once of some fabrics. And normally on a steel rule die this would be sharp, but it's not, so you can let little ones cut as well. Don't talk about power going out. There we go. I think I have it too thick now. So I'm going to take some of this out. And it's just regular old paper. It's going to be noisy as well. I think I took away too much. Maybe that was right. Whoops. It's been a while since I've used it, clearly, or I would have the right size. So I don't know if you want to see this angle or if you want to see the other angle. Here we go. I'll move the machine to the camera. So then you turn in a counterclock or a clockwise manner, and you can put your hand up here to add stability. It may sound like crunching in a minute. Of course, my microphone is really good. And then you can pull it out from the back, but I usually just crank it back because my arms are really short. And then before I take everything out of here, let's see here. Whoops. I should have moved the caterpillar. It's too sticky. I usually will go like this. and then flip it over to see that it cut. And then once I see that it cut, then I peel it up. Because if you haven't cut it all the way, well, it's better to find out now. And you can see I still have to do the others. Not enough to do an applique. We're almost there. That would be kind of fun too. So you guys see how this works? Now, I have tried before to make my own Dresden plate, and I couldn't get it to go all the way around the circle without losing some of the petals size. I don't know if that's ever happened to any of you before, trying to cut your own out. I think I'm going to use a solid. Maybe this. You guys agree? Does that work? Why isn't my live chat showing? There we go. So Pearl, the reason I used the paper is because I didn't have the right platform for this machine, because we also sell platforms for other machines. So know that if you have a variety of different kinds of dies, that you can use all of your different dies with this machine by altering the thickness of the platform by simply adding paper to it. Now that works only if your dies are bigger or smaller is what I should have said. So if you have these steel rule dies, this you won't have any issues at all. It's when you have like the Sizzix dies, things like that. If they're paper dies and they're thinner than the thickness of these dies, then or you're trying to use these dies in your machine. That's why we have the platforms. And some of them are narrower, so they fit into your narrower machine so you can use our dies. So part of this is me showing you the machine, and part of this is me showing you our dies. So you're not limited to using the dies just on our machine. You can use it on your machine. There we go. I said it right after all. It took me a while. So now I need to cut another 4. I'm pretty sure that's what I need. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, I needed 6. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have 2 layers of this. And I just need that much. My house is all warm because it was freezing this morning, and now it's hot. And if I turn on the air conditioner, it messes with the microphone. So it's feeling like summer in here. Wow, isn't that just the most beautiful fabric? I don't think I would ever get tired of looking at it. Now it says 7 layers, not 8, and I need 6 of each of these petal colors. But I'm going to give it a try. Let's try it. Why not? Let's push the window of this machine, which has steel gears in it. So I know there was another model before this, but this is the crafters, or the we have too many products that start with C. We have the Caterpillar light tablets, which allow you to cut using light and cut directly on the actual tablet, which I'm used to using, and it's Caterpillar. And then this is the Crafter's Edge, and this cuts as well, and the machine is the Crafter's Edge. No, yeah, Crafter's Edge too. Crafter's Choice. What is it? Have you guys been paying attention? What is it called? It's called the Crossover 2. And the reason they call it the crossover is because it crosses over from paper to fabric. So if you're not just crafty with fabric, you can use this with and without. I'm trying to think what I wanted to do. I didn't promise I'd sew, but I really want to, because I can show you some more that you can do with this. So that's 4 layers. This is 6 layers. And that's all I really need is 6 layers. But I didn't cut enough of this, and I'm going to try it and see if it'll cut 8. It's not supposed to. They don't say you can. Should we have a bet and see? Will it or will it not cut through 8 layers? This is the metal or steel plate, which makes this possible. There we go. And I'm scared. Are you guys scared? I'm not scared. I want to make it so you can see it as best as possible. Got this camera a little too close for this product. And we focus them, so I hesitate to try to change it. So I hold my hand on the actual plate until it starts to enter. And I like the grip. It's got a sticky grip, so your hand doesn't slip on it. And this handle spins around. See how that spins around? Once it's entered into the area of the machine, if I feel the need to add strength to myself, and this, I did break my shoulder, so my arm is not what it used to be. You might also find that you prefer to stand up for this. I'm going through there, and I have it at 14, which is pretty heavy. However, I'm not using the right size or thickness. I'm using paper to compensate. There we go. Oh, follow my rule. I cut over 250 squares using this, and then I use the smaller square to square off my squares. Now I can see that it did not cut through that one, but it's not supposed to. So there is one little area here that's not cut. Now I have the opportunity to put it back in without it moving. This is me being very clumsy. Six layers is still amazing. I mean, I'd still be cutting out. Oops, flip it over. Just to check, slide it out. And now it cuts clean away. And I just need 2 more to finish my project. Whoopsie, I've done that before. Don't do that. Make sure that the blade is facing the metal. I actually have a heart-shaped imprint in one of my clear plexiglass covers. hope I haven't confused anybody from my time spent away from doing this. And I don't think the camera's moving, but the whole table is moving right now. Hi, Fiona. Yeah, we don't need to go. It's kind of nice to work in smaller segments anyway. I knew there would be no way it didn't cut through two, so I just pulled it apart. All right, so this is about die cutting. It's not necessarily me sewing, even though I want to, but I didn't. This is going to be sewn together because I didn't put any Fusible on the back side. But I just want to show you how this machine will make it so that you're lined up, so that you end up with a circle in the middle when your petals are connected to one another. Isn't it delightful? I just love this. Try to get it. It's really just, I'm on an uneven surface, Amy, but it is quite a bit of power that it's yielding. There we go. All right. So definitely cut the wrong circle out, didn't I? I feel embarrassed. All right, so I'm thinking about maybe sewing this, showing you the Satinedge foot and how I would use it to sew these together. But I want to show you how we can also use this with fusing inside of the fabric. I think I have my hearts out here. Do I have a heart? Can always just do the same shape. I had the flower, didn't I? Oh well. I'm going to fuse onto the back of the fabric, and I'm gonna go get one of my appliques. So I will be right back. Tinkerbell. This is the first time Tinkerbell hasn't been beside me. Makes me think I've got her locked away somewhere. Well, I gathered up some of the dies so that I can share them with you. And just remember, this isn't just about the machine. So if you already have a machine and you like it, then you can use our dies on your machine with our platform, or by taking paper and making it the right thickness to work with our dies. I don't know, Tina, it's always quite messy on my table, so you may think I've done more than I've done. But I did just cut out the Dresden plate. And let's see, I'm going to pick an applique to do and cut it with the Fusible inside of it. So, and talk a little bit about, I was gonna do a lot because, you know, it's Thursday and I get carried away. These are the English paper piecing dies. They have all these different dies. These are really small. They're as small as what you see on these packages. So if you've ever wanted to do one of the hexie quilts or do the English paper piecing, you can use these dies, and they give you the paper and the stabilizer, or the fabric and the paper. And then we don't use paper, we use the Applique stabilizer instead. I did want to show you guys how you can join these together without hand sewing at some point, but leave that for another day. And then we have, I've been wanting to do that one, but the butterfly is the one I really want to do. Let's see. And that's the circles. These are some of the utility dies. So if you want them, we got them in stock. Half square triangles. And this was one that when they first initially made this, the company that they kind of referred to as they were developing their dies, I was testing out the shape. They would send me the dies and I cut it out and made sure that they could sew out properly. And the Drunker's Path did not work. So we tested the actual fabric cut by the competitors' dies and they did not work. The math was just a little bit off. And the instructions were to cut with the die, sew it together, and then cut it afterward to make it square. So this is actually a Drunker's Path die that gives you a Drunker's Path square. So you don't have to square it off afterward. However, because it is a little tricky to hold on to the last minute sewing the Drunker's Path, I had them engineer the top piece, or the pie piece, a little bit bigger so that you can hold on a little bit longer, and then that is okay to cut off. So this is the easiest Drunker's Path die cut to use. So I think I'm going to do the butterfly. I don't know where the hearts are. I could swear I just had them in my hand. My room starts out so neat and tidy, and then I go, where do I put this? Where do I put this? So I'm going to use this for the butterfly. And, or should I? You guys vote. You getting tired of that fabric? I have so much fabric. Or maybe this would be better for the butterfly. Yeah, let's see. Or this. All you purple lovers. You like that I get carried away. I want my button thing to work. Let me see if I can get it to work. Please work. It acts like it's going to. It's not going to work. Oh well. This is kind of bright purple. I don't know which one to do. You like the darker one? The blue? This one? I'm just going to do that. All this trying to think things through, and then I'm going to use that to complement it. There we go. What did I do with my pieces over there? I gotta not forget I need a center for that. I knew it was risky for me to bring out all these different circles before I cut that out. I think that is a good size, and this would be for the inside if I were to have planned ahead and had this be for paper piecing, or foundation paper piecing, I should say. Wait a minute. No, it's not. It's English paper piecing. Or is it needle turn? Or is it patchwork applique? All these names for things that seem so similar. Okay, pull this out. Purple and pink, huh? I'm sticking with what I got for this. It's almost similar to what they used on their little, what they do, kitchen towel. Interesting. Okay. Okay, so we have several pieces here. Now's when fussy cutting becomes important, or you'll see how cool it is to be able to do that with these. Let me get these out of my way. Oh boy, I'm making a mess. So on the design, we have our outer fabric, and I just sit there and go, well, with the, we could actually use more of a solid in the middle, and then we could stitch over that and add to it, can't we? We certainly can, and we could also use yarn and all kinds of different trims. But the first thing I want to do is I want to make it fusible. I had a piece already fusible. If I only could remember everything before I go live. I have to iron. I would transition more if my button thingy would work. I'll close this up and iron. It's really heavy, you guys. There we go. The crossover tube. Got my heat surface, or my ironing surface. I'm challenged for space. But now I have my ironing board, my iron cord coming from above, which is really nice. If you guys haven't thought of that in your house, it's quite something. So before I cut this out, this is the body of the butterfly, or the big part of the wings. So I need to have enough fabric to cut out 4 wings, or 4 pieces, which isn't a lot. And I can cut the whole butterfly out at once. But before I do this, I want to make sure that I make it fusible. So I don't regret that I didn't make it fusible again. If you ever do that, you can use our liquid-based glue to temporarily hold something down for applique. But our fuse and fuse is ideal. You'll have the best experience overall. And I am going to sew this butterfly. At least that's what I'm thinking, if you guys want me to. What was I choosing for the... Let's see. All right, I need your help. I don't know what I did with it. Where did I put it? Or was I just thinking of using the scraps? Can I? Let's see. No, I have to fuse some stabilizer onto it. I got a lot of that fabric because I'm fond of that color scheme. Putting my iron on cotton setting. I also have these. I'm like, that would really make pretty butterfly wings. It's got that swirly kind of butterfly feeling. Should I switch? Switch to this one? All right, decide. I think this is going to be the wings, and these either one of these are going to be the shapes that go on top. Purple or teal? Come on, you guys. The more you participate, the more the YouTube algorithm thinks you're having a good time. You don't like dies, Andy? Well, you don't have to use dies. You can also cut out your own butterfly. Let's see here. I can make more than one butterfly, can't I? Let's see here. The fact that you can fussy cut with these dies makes them more enjoyable to use. Purple? Purple, teal, teal, purple. Oh, yeah, they're a little challenging because you have to kind of hope you get your fabric where you want it lined up. I try not to talk bad about other companies' products. Maybe that with that, and this with that, or this with that. Oh, this is why sometimes I can't quilt. I just go, nah, too many choices. Can't do it. Can't decide on only the few that I pulled out this time. I think this is a more dramatic, but I think I'm going to go with that. All right. Okay, so we're going to cut out 2 butterflies at the same time. Yes, we are, because we can. Pretty sure. I haven't done it with the fuse and fuse in it. I apparently had used this for my owl, my wise owl pattern. Guess it really doesn't matter. I don't have to worry about it because I'm going to use the dies. That's pretty cool. I can use up my scrappy scraps. Well, you can use your Applique quilt machine with our dies, with the platform that we offer. So you can keep using your machine, but add to your die collection. And if you need to make fine adjustments for the thickness of that, you can use paper to add to the thickness to make it match your steel roll die thickness. Another really neat thing about these dies is they're so small, so you can store 100 of them and afford it too, because they're not as expensive as the steel rolls. And you can't cut yourself on these. All right, so this is one butterfly, this is another butterfly, and we need enough fusing. Let's see. I'm good. I got my paper scissors. Always have your fusing a little bit smaller than your fabric, so you don't fuse it onto your ironing board. Didn't I do something like that last week with the Timtex? And then we're going to iron this onto the wrong side of the fabric without steam, because steam can burn you as it pushes out from the paper. It's really the only reason. Now on this side, I could push steam through because it's so far away from me, but it does like squirt out the side and could burn your hands if you had your hands on there. You wait for this to cool. While I'm waiting for that to cool, I'll get this one ready. Look at this limited space I'm working with, you guys. So if you have small little spaces to work, you know that you can accomplish this. So I want to make it like this. So notice that when I'm randomly cutting like this, that I have the fabric stick out on both ends of the fusing. And then I'll fold back a little bit and cut. That way I'm not cutting it too big and then have to size it down afterward. Less waste. Okay, so this is another butterfly. This one's really hard to tell right side. Do you guys remember how to do it? Who knows how to tell right side? Come on, which one is the fastest to type? So what I do is I stretch across the grain, and when you stretch across the grain, it hugs the wrong side of the fabric. So it kind of concave. See how it kind of scoops down as I do that? And so that means this is the right side. So I want to fuse this onto the wrong side. All right, make sure the paper is within the boundaries of that fabric. Do not use steam as you press on the paper side. And you can iron, you can move it around because it's not going to stretch at all. The paper won't let it. It's where I hear thunder right now. I think our servicemen are flying overhead right now, because it's really quiet where I live. Okay, we got that butterfly. Now we're going to do the small parts. Can you guys hear that? Time to hydrate, everybody. I can't function without my little button thing. I shorted it out. Were you guys able to hear that? It sounded like jets. So these are the parts that are going to be on these. And I can take the paper off or not, which is really cool. I need 2 of each of those. So I could go like that, or I can fussy cut so that if I want the wing to have a pattern following, like it'll be more obvious on this one. That's why I like this one for the butterfly. So it has that swirly. So when I cut this, I can have that be the wing. You're not going to see all of it because the other fabric's going to be ironed on top of it. But where this does stick out from that piece, we can see. So I can cut this a little bit closer to the size. Move this fabric over. So this is what you call fussy cutting. So we're able to kind of figure out where exactly we want. And you know that this is when the blade is down, this is right side up. So you don't have to think upside down and backwards anymore either. Ooh, that's pretty. I think I like that. You know, what do I like more? Sewing on the fly. Don't know what I'm doing till I start. Gotta have two of whatever I do. This is the top wing. Still have to plot out my bottom wing. So that's really pretty. What should I do, guys? I wish one of you were here to decide for me. Have I got everything cut out? Where's that thing? Here it is. It's always a good idea to have your sample out. And that looks so big. This picture looks so much bigger in my mind anyway. Are any of you yelling at the screen going, there, put it back. I saw this perfect one and you moved it. Sorry if I'm frustrating any of you. I should have cut a bigger piece is what I should have done. Would have been easier for me to problem solve this. Okay, so now I need to spot another one like that if I use that. It's probably not even going to be that noticeable. I know what I'm going to do. Should I dare do that? I'm going to cut it down the middle. All right, I ended up with that again. I like that. So now I just need to find another one like that. I just couldn't see it because the designs are so swirly. I wish I could hear you guys yelling at me. Bye, Pearl. Okay, I'm going to just, because I really like where that one is, so you can see how I can cut it down a little bit. Whoopsie, don't let it move. Definitely get out your little scraps when you work with this. Ooh, these are really nasty. They're cutting through the paper fine, but not the fabric. And that is why you don't use your fabric scissors with paper. Okay, so that one. I want to show you this because it's important to understand how to get all your fussy cutting pieces to be in the same spot. And I hope I have one. guess this pattern didn't repeat as often as I thought it did. Oh, that's right, it's got to be reversed. So that kind of looks like it. Oh gosh, this is so, I don't want to cut. So now we're gonna put these down on top of each other, but you want to make sure that the part that, and this is kind of what I liked on the top of that one, and I kind of liked that one there. So this is going to be the wing going that way, and this is going to be the wing going the other way. It's one of the things I didn't eat enough again. I find I have a harder time deciding when I'm hungry. Do you guys have that same problem? This is what I need to do to see where to go. Oh, this is not that. It's not that important. It's not. There we go. That's what I wanted. My pin cushion's never really close to me because I don't need it very often. Pardon my reach. Okay, so what we're trying to do is, it's easier when you have a pattern like that other pattern where the flowers are real easy to tell the difference. This was challenging. So this is the cutting. It's going to cut down like that. So this one needs to be right side up and this one needs to be upside down. I'm thinking, I may be wrong. So I want this to be at the top. And so I pin straight through it. So then I'm going to pin through that one. So now we have the 2 points, or the 2 tops of the wings, lined up with each other. Got to make sure that it swings out and that it, see how nice it is to be able to pick up your die. Okay, that's definitely not swung over enough. Feels right. Nothing like trying something live for the first time. I just can't do it. It's got to be that way. All right, I gave up on that because the design is too busy. But that's going to be the 2 wings. And these are the bottoms. Fabric's going to be covering it anyway. Hope you can get the idea anyway of what I was aiming for. And they're going to be covered. I got to remember that. You're not even going to be able to see it. That would have been wiser to like find the pattern, lay it over the top. It's too busy. My brain's too tired. But you can kind of see how you can do it in a scrappy way. And I should. The whole idea is to cut out more. This one will be easy. So all I do is just lay that down. So we're trying to have, I'm going to see if it'll do that. It shouldn't, because that's, unless I remove the paper. Definitely works. Hope you guys aren't bored. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We already determined 8's too many. Because we have to count the paper as a piece. I hope you guys realize I just flipped this around after making sure I worked hard at it. You can't pin and leave the pin in there, but you can pin until you're ready to cut. Oops. You gotta have it under there though. Now I'm hearing something else. It's a noisy day in my area today. Don't do what I do. All right. Don't move. This one doesn't matter. Easy peasy. And we're going to pin this before I move it. And we just need 2 more of these. But you can choose, you know, what color by moving it around when the fabric has all this variance. All right, these are ready. But now we have all these little pieces to do. And I just need to have enough fabric to cut those out with the Fusible on the back side. And did we decide on purple? Or did we decide on teal? Or was I doing both? I don't remember. Good thing it doesn't really matter. You thought you were fussy? I'm really bad. Okay. Have you guys seen the fussy cutting process where you use a mirror to see that a pattern, how a pattern will repeat nicely? All right, these pieces get out of the way so I know I'm done. Now I have these. So I just need 2 times that big. And I guess I'm going to have 1 teal and 1 purple. Because I have both out, which means I probably meant to do that. I hate cutting into fabric like this. But I do it a lot. This is why you need to feed me. I need to eat or I don't end up. Look at how nice those go together. There's like a hint of purple in these little dots. All right. So if any of you got a good moonshot the other night, I'd love it if you shared it in the school. Because you can do that if you want. You can like share your sewing, and you can also share your moon photos. Oh, it hid your comment, Fiona. I guess it thought you were insulting me because you wrote fussy. That's so funny. YouTube is trying to stop people from having hate speech. It'd be pretty sad if I could be offended by being called fussy. All right, the worst is over. But I did want to show you Tim Tex. Just want to show you it's got the power to do it. Okay, one thing at a time, Claire. You're not capable of, because I would have cut 2 papers if I were. That was pretty insulting. I insulted myself. And if you notice behind me, I started hanging my koi fish inking that I did, and I only got 1 tack up and it was hanging there. So sloppy looking. Got a bunch of dies back in if you've been waiting for dies to be in stock. And I have inside of my cart from my supplier another entire line of dies coming. And some inking pencils. Thanks to the suggestion from Larry. I don't see her in the chat. Hi, Andy. So the cutter, the crossover cutter machine, comes with a free die inside, and it comes with a platform and the metal sheet and the clear on in addition to it. So you get one die with it. We have a shipping special going on at Creative Feet right now. This is a live video. I don't usually talk about things that aren't always going to be on, but right now is definitely the time to pick up a heavy item. Something we always wanted to do, but we had to move our website in order to be able to offer like free shipping or shipping specials without having issues. So it's super exciting to be able to offer that. If you've been waiting for a newsletter, sorry about us taking forever to get a newsletter out. At least we're finally done getting the cameras right, don't you think? Now we're going to figure out how to stream to more than one platform again. Now that we have, I'm hoping my mouth is in sync with my voice this week, because last week it was off all through the whole video and none of you told me. Not that I could have done anything. You can also spray start your fabric before doing it as an applique, especially if you pre-washed, which is what I usually do. All right. Almost ready. Then we just have to get the base fabric ready. But this is really about just cutting your fabric. It isn't about sewing. But I rarely cut without sewing. So these will be real easy because we can just toss them on top. My dog is dreaming and he's barking. So cute. I wish you could hear. It almost made me cry. It's so cute. So this is the body. And I'm going to alternate the body. But see how much room? Oh, you can't see. Switch cameras. So you can see how much extra I have? So that makes me want to grab another thing. I can cut some circles. I have a whole bucket full of dies somewhere. Not in here though. I say, should I do this? But that's the whole idea behind this, is that you can, I hate to use something if I don't need to, because then I can't sell it as new. I think I'll just cut some more circles. What do I do with all those? They're over here. I got more circles. Hope this is not too noisy for you. You can never have enough circles. You could even do that. And what that would do is it would create a negative circle. So I'm going to do it because it'd be fun for you to see. If you can't, in case you can't visualize it, I think I got enough space in there. All right, time to cut. Can I do another one? All right, I'm going to go for that. We'll see what happens. You do kind of want to center it, though. If I don't center it, it's going to be weird circles. Okay. Oh, there's the hearts. I knew I had hearts. Ugh, that's so funny. Now, this was the prototype when I was working with them and helping them develop these in the beginning. I'm so glad you're happy with the camera setup. You can buy some magnet stuff like this as well to hold all your... I highly recommend doing this. And then you can put this inside of a binder and store all your dies in a three-ring binder. Come on. Position it. I should be able to squeeze a heart out of this. There we go. Except for I should have built that on the platform. That would have been wise. So this is the platform. I'm just working in such a tight spot here. And everything's going to be cut on this metal part. Are you guys ready to find out what happens on the circle thing? If you're into making modern quilts, I think that would be really cool. So they have little tabs, and on those tabs they say what size they are. So you can be more accurate when you're quilting. Okay, so I can put this like that. Whatever you can fit on here at a time, you can cut at once. It reminds me of something I did as a child. Can't remember. Don't mess it up, Claire. And you put the clear on top. This one we'll have to cut later. Ooh, am I getting hungry? I thought I made my protein shake, but I didn't. Now we put it on the platform. Oh no! Put it on the platform first, then build your stuff. Slide it back over. I'm really not trying to take forever. It just seems that way. So if you're going to do this interlocking circles, have the tab be on top of the one beneath it. Or use circles that are farther apart in size. It's really more about having a butterfly when we're done. Don't forget, don't lose sight of what your focus should be on. Can't believe I did that. Yes, I can. I can believe I did it. Can you guys believe? Of course you can. You don't want to have your fabric stick out on the side. That'll be a problem. It's okay if it sticks out at the end though. This is the ultimate fussy cutting sample. Oh, goodness. All right. All right, angels. Keep everything in place. So I still have to open the machine up. You know what? Build it on the platform, but make sure the platform is on the machine. Okay. Oh no, I just knocked something. All right. So this is the Caterpillar pad underneath here, and it's super sticky-ish, kind of, so it doesn't slip, making it kind of hard for me to move the machine on it. Okay. How long is this video going to take? I thought I'd make a really quick video because I can cut with this. So you insert it into the machine, and this machine has pressure adjustment. This is your last chance to kind of double check. My left arm is actually shorter than God gave me when I broke my shoulder. The doctor had to shorten my arm. So it just doesn't, my left arm doesn't work right. I don't grab like I used to. So just know that I'm making it look a little bit more challenging than it is. So as I'm cranking this, it's, you know, this is hanging off my table, and, you know, if you have a smoother surface, what is this getting stuck on? It was literally hanging off just so that you could see from above the way I wanted you to see. And, but this is how I'm compensating for this arm. And we do have people that have physical challenges that are using this, and they're really happy with it, as it is still easier than cutting with scissors. Going backward is easier for me. And it really is pushing a tremendous amount of pressure on that to get the fabric to cut. Flip it over to make sure that it cut before disconnecting the blade from the fabric. I'll switch to the top so you can see. So you can see the cuts in there. And then I put my finger in the middle. I kind of make sure, especially these little teeny pieces. But as long as you can see the cut above, then you know you've cut all the way through all the layers. So that's why I do that. Now this I had paper to paper, so I can't see the cuts. So this is probably because I did upside down and had, you know, paper, but that's just a little cut, so I can finish that with scissors. I think I went off the fusible. See, that was just a hair, just a fiber, one little fiber. All right, you're not fused to one another. Come on. And that's the paper release liner peeling off. And there we go. Oh, that one cut perfect. Are we having fun? Is it getting exciting? I have to make a body, or the main body of the fabric too, if I'm going to sew today. I didn't promise sewing though. I didn't. See that? Wouldn't that be impossible to cut? These rings. Got one hair there again. Imagine trying that with other brands of dyes. My release liner does not want to release from me. Isn't that cool? You could do like an applique of a face and make hoop earrings. That would be so hard to do with scissors, wouldn't it? You having fun watching me fumble around? You can thank my son for the cameras finally being right. It's so cool. I'm gonna have to sew that, aren't I? Because you're like, how would you stitch that? Might have to show you free motion applique. Would you like me to do free motion applique on like a quilted fabric? Or should I just do regular applique? My phone, I never had it plugged in. It's about to turn off. You'd do a whole quilt with the rings, Andy? It would be really neat, wouldn't it? I could see it being like bubbles coming up from a fish and mix it with solid circles. It won't go. This reminds me, one day there was a praying mantis outside on a flower plant of mine, and I walked out to water the plant in the morning, and he flew on me. And then I was like, okay, and put him back on the plant, and he flew back on me. And it was about an hour That thing would not get off of me. Every time I put him back on the plant, he would fly back on. And he like started doing a bath, taking his antennae and cleaning his antennae. It was so cute. Look at that little heart. Except for on this heart, I didn't have the paper. Bummer. So it's almost a heart. Almost usable. We could still use it though, can't we, with the liquid-based glue? Do regular applique? It's so boring. Didn't I just do applique? There's a high level of static electricity. I'm in Arizona though. Of course there's a lot of static electricity. But look at how all these pieces coming together. And to have cut them all at one time, you know, that's the beauty of it. Can you just see them like working together on something? I can do blanket stitch applique. It's faster than satin stitch. I guess you guys can vote. Satin stitch applique or blanket stitch applique. I was going to do needle turn applique, but you know, I can just save that for another day. Don't feel bad if you want me to do regular applique. I'm just teasing you. I'll do whatever you guys want. It's kind of like you control my show. Don't feel bossy just because you're bossing me around, you guys. I can do both. I can do all of it. But then we'd all be in here till tomorrow. Ooh, I just really like how the circles working with the rings. Don't lose track of which side has the fusing. Because our stabilizer is so... Oh my gosh. There's no way I'm going to be able to applique the whole thing today. There is a limit to what you can get me to do. But isn't that cool? How you can have the circle be like moving around this circle. Ooh, so that circle in there. It almost looks like eyes and a nose and all we need is the mouth. And you could have them overlap one another. And we can do this and we can do that. And Claire will never stop sewing. I was going to do the butterfly applique, not these. But I'm going to fuse it down on something. Lorinda wrote Satan. Oh my gosh, you guys. So these are so small that it would be more like straight stitch. Oh, bummer. I'm going to keep the paper on until it's time to put it down. And I'm going to use our liquid-based glue to secure that little part right there. Could just put another piece of fusible under there and hope not to get all over my iron. This is the time-consuming part. Peeling off the paper release liner. I don't have anything to put it onto yet either. Come on. Come on, fingers. And then when I do that, I go and I place it down with fusible side down so I know that it's got the fusible side on the bottom. Oh, I forgot I already did those. The fusible I use is our brand. It's Fuse and Fuse. And you can't detect it in the fabric. But it holds permanently. It won't lift up on you while you're sewing and it doesn't get your needle sticky. And it comes on a roll, so you don't have to worry about it folding and getting creased in shipment. And there is a roll. I was gonna like show you this Tack stuff, but I have a piece already cut. So this was cut using this, and it's Tacks with fabric on both sides. And this is based on my Easter basket that I did. All right. I need to make some fabric now. Or should I put it on? I was going to do this one too, but I'm just gonna wait. I'm getting too hungry. At some point I'm gonna have to end. One butterfly is enough. So what should I put this on? So I should put it on black so it really stands out. And then afterward I could quilt it with some fabric or some threads that complement the fabric shapes. You have a stabilizer that expired? Does that happen? Our stabilizers don't expire. Do they have an expiration date on them? I would never trust any stabilizer will expire. I would try it. These are the little bodies. This is going to be challenging. That is one teeny weeny little piece. And this would definitely be something I would normally do free motion. Black fabric? I like your thinking. I'm thinking the same way. I used to know where it was. I just bought some. But that paper really does not want to let go of you. Oh, I didn't cut enough of the little ones. I have to run it through one more time. I should have done 2 layers. I only needed one body for each, which made me forget. So it's these little pieces here. But I'm not doing both butterflies. It's this little piece right here. I was like, one wing could have one and one could have the other. That just, I can wing it. Do I have enough fused fabric? I have that negative right there. Oh gosh. All right, so I can't remember if this fabric was supposed to have the purple. I think so. Did I not do that? Huh. Boy, I wasn't thinking. Clearly I only did one each. And I did that again. It's good for you to see how I handle that though. So I was thinking I only needed one piece, one part for each of these because I was doing those circles. And I had enough fabric to fold it over. That was not my brightest moment. All right, I think I'm going to kind of build this so I know what I'm missing. Oh, I'm not going to do teal on that. Purple. So that goes there. So I'm missing. I got enough to do that. Now I have to make the other wing set. Applique is fun. It's like a puzzle. Problem was I was doing more than one butterfly at a time. Where's the other body? They had their body be different color, but I think I like it being the same. So this goes down here. Or I could just forget the butterfly and applique the rings and circles and hearts. I can feel you guys thinking, just do the circles and the hearts. Am I right? Do half and half. I mean, nobody knows. That's what's so fun about sewing, right? Nobody really knows what your intent or plan was. This could just be the applique that I sew. Rings! We've seen enough butterflies in our day. Nobody ever does this. This is ridiculously challenging. And just for good measure, I will do a circle on this as well. That's already ready. Where's the black fabric? Let me find the black fabric really fast. That was pretty quick. I'm not sure what it'll be, so like how big should my fabric be? But you can see how it's kind of bent. And when that happens, what I do, I'm going to put this away. This should not, see how easy that was this time? And I like to put a rubber band around that to keep it from opening up. They give you something. I think it's Velcro. But I misplace things like that. But another good use of my needle tack is what I call it in the description below the video. And it's it's poster tack is what it should say. But if I write poster tack, I felt like you guys might not get it. So if you have a little of this poster tack, even though there's a magnet there, I would just add a little of this to hold that. And that's good, and it won't come apart no matter where you store it. This is something I worked on in the VIP group on Whatever You Want Claire to Sew Saturday. And I tested a bunch of stuff on denim and then showed people how to sew felt seam. And this is an astounding thing, you guys. This is pearl cotton. This is hand sewing thread. Now, sometimes people put it in the bobbin, but I put it in the needle and the bobbin. The video went about 2 hours long, and I tested a variety of different threads that we're going to be bringing into Creative Feet very soon. So if you want to be a part of these videos that I do with them, join the VIP group inside of my school, which is in the description, in the link. This is look at that, it's yarn, and it's satin stitch right on the edge of the fabric using the satin stitch, or Satinedge Foot. And if I'd used a green thread, you wouldn't see anything but that absolutely astounding. Let me show you the close camera. See that? And this is the pearl cotton. See how thick that is? It's bigger than a needle is in diameter. And then this is there's this yarn thread. It's like fuzzy. Oh, so cool. This one here. It's literally like knitting yarn, and it's super soft. Be really good for baby stuff. And they have it in different colors. So these are things we'll be bringing in. And then of course this is sewing with the sequins and ribbon foot using decorative stitches. But this is the real denim thread, the thread that they sew your blue jeans with. And we're adding that very soon. And then I'll do some videos on blue jeans. But I actually just kind of sewed with the sequins and ribbon foot, goes over the felled seam really easy. Okay, I'm going to put this... Oh, I forgot to show you what I do. That's not straight. And you might think, oh no, I need a new plate. And this has been... I've cut probably 500 shapes out on it. So this is what I do. And I just kind of bend it back. And when I'm cutting a whole bunch of the same shape, like when I made my quilt and did a bunch of squares, I would cut on this side, and then the next row I'd do this side. Then I'd cut this side, then I'd cut on that side. And that kind of keeps it from bowing too fast. And you can see that it straightens out. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, it was bowing. There you go. All right, time to iron this on. And another stabilizer will be used now, our Hold Light. This is the stabilizer we use for needle turn applique. It's the Applique stabilizer. And it is what's on the circles that I had out. What did I do with those? I'm going to mix two different applique techniques together for the sewing segment of this video. If I can grab these. There we go. I think that's going to go nicely with it, don't you? I'm going to do a modern quilt. Or, yeah, well, I'll make it a pillow. How's that? I'm not going to sew the pillow, though. I'm not even going to, may not even quilt. I know better than to say I'm not going to do something. I'm dropping things. I found another circle. Want me to do that? I can do that right now, you guys. Okay, I'm going to take a picture with my phone of what we're doing here. And then there's an app for the school, by the way. I have to keep this on right now, this video playing. Okay, so I can see that the picture I took is sitting, the reflection's pretty intense. Oh, I took the picture of the reflection. This is the picture. That's funny. Okay, so you open up the school. And this is the video that I'm filming right now. Isn't this cool? And then if you go to you hit the plus. It's got a black bar. It says write a comment, and there's a plus, and then there's a camera that shows up. And then you can go to photo library, or you can snap a picture right then. Where is it? It's not going to let me do it because I'm live, I think. Oh, it is. Look at that. And then you hit post. So if you haven't joined the school, it's built on the Mighty Networks platform, and you download an app for your phone as well. So you can participate. And this is me watching us so that I know if I'm making a mistake, and so I can read your comments instead of squinting. I can't believe what we can do with our phones these days. Make sure you put this machine somewhere where your toes won't find it in the dark, because it is as heavy as a sewing machine. So this is the stabilizer that's on the back side of these circles. And these were done with the cutter, with the dies that you saw me use. The circle die set is broken down in circles that come down in size by 1/4 inch increments. So you can do needle turn or patchwork applique where we fold under our sides or our edges. In all of the sizes that you saw on that circle die set. Okay, I'm going to put these away. I should have put them back in their baggie that they came with. Shifting from a die cutting video to a applique video. I know there was a baggie. That's a small bag. I really am very coordinated, but I'm not acting like it today at all. I've done some silly things. Joining the school is easier done on a computer first. But if you don't have a computer, or you just want to do it right now, you go to your Play Store if you're on an Android phone, or go to the Apple Store if you're using an iPhone, and type in the Mighty Networks. And you'll find it. And that's how you download the app into your mobile device or your tablet or your Kindle. And then after you download the app, I got my scrappies, which I can definitely use for other parts. Which is why I have a big bag full of little scraps. I was like, this would be kind of fun to incorporate these little comma shape. It's a butterfly part though. It doesn't have to be. It can be part of this modern style whatever I'm making. Where are those other parts now? Oh well. Okay, I'm going to set this aside and get my base material ready. The base fabric's going to have Hold Light on it. When you go to our website, oh, that's right. Okay. I'm going to share my, if I can. Yeah, I can. When you're at the school, or let's say you're at Google, you would just Google in the Mighty Networks. Let me get my keyboard. So if you're on a computer, you can go to Google and just Google Mighty Networks. And what this is it's a platform for people like me. And there are a lot of other educators that have a Mighty Networks platform as well. Think of it as Facebook with no politics. And inside of this Facebook, there are clubs. That's just a bunch of clubs, places like mine. So you would click on the Mighty Networks and then download to your phone the app, as I mentioned before, by going in the Play Store, or you can. I'm afraid to do this while I'm live because it might cause problems. But you just want to create an account with them. I guess if you would go to sign in, and if you don't have an account, then it would be. Or here's the thing. This is really a platform for people like me. But you have to download the app in order to join. I'm going to put in the feed right now the school to take you to there, and then it'll help you. So I'm putting it inside of the chat, and you can click on it if I can get my mouse to go over there. So I just put the school in the chat, and if you click on that, it'll take you there, and then it'll encourage you to download, and it'll help instruct you how to get yourself set up. And inside of my school, I have groups, and so we have topics. So if you want to follow a specific topic, and you can say coffee time. I've only done one. I was asked to do it again. I guess I should do it again. Maybe Tuesday. I shouldn't say things like that out loud. This is if you just want to follow Creative Feet, and it's just like anything Creative Feet gets put in here. And this is where you'll see other people's posts, things that they've done. On the side here, we have groups. And in the groups, there's the VIP group. This is where I did the denim video. They get exclusive videos with me once a month. And then they get also patterns because this is a pay for group. And then because of the mask situation, and I developed a pattern immediately following the beginning of the outbreak, and helped people with the Million Mask Movement. That's why we have a group for that. And then this is the show where you're watching right now. And if you click in here, you'll see the past shows, and it's taking a while because we are running 3 cameras and live. So this is what I'd like you to do is to go to, this is last week's class, and this is where you would post pictures of your purse in the conversation based on that particular episode, rather than posting your own posts anywhere, to try to keep it neat and tidy. But it's okay if you get a little messy in here. And there's the dog walking bag. And I'd like to see more pictures, you guys. You're slacking. You'll have your own profile up here. And this is where you have the ability to set your settings. If you're not getting notified when I go live or when I post a pattern or something, you guys probably need to check your not your network settings. Didn't mean to do that. Your settings. So you have personal account settings. Go into your settings. And then notifications. And see how I have mobile push on there? So I don't need to get emails because I am always in the school. But you can have both emails and or text messages. So text messages works best for me. Whenever you guys post something, a text message comes right through to my phone, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. However, my phone doesn't make any noise when I have a notification come through. The only thing my phone does is let my kids call at any time. Otherwise, you guys don't have to worry about waking me up ever. And then you choose what activity you want to follow or be notified about. Make sure you at least, follow me so that you don't miss out on live events, because we have people that are complaining that they find out afterward. So my phone just stopped playing.
Kids call at any
Whoopsie.
time. Otherwise, you guys.
Why did it do that? I'm still live. All right, I'm going to go back on the video now. I don't know why this stopped. Something breaks when I go on something's. Oh, I think it's because my son texted. You might hear music for a second as I try to get my. Maybe my headphone just died. Okay. I'm almost back with you guys. Sorry about this. Okay. My headphone died. That's what happened. And I usually listen in my left ear, so now I'm listening in my right ear. Front. Sorry about that, you guys. That's why I'm afraid to even bring out my keyboard, because sometimes things get wonky. I'm really not sure what caused that to happen, but it's time for me to drink a little bit of my, this is like vitamin C water. I usually mute when I do this, but I don't have the ability. So I'm going to move away from the microphone so you don't have to hear me swallow. But you guys should drink some water if you haven't been drinking water. All right. So when you're at creativefeet.com, if you go to stabilizers, you'll see that we have a variety of different stabilizers, and they have their own animal character. And this is Hold Light, and its animal is a hummingbird, because this is very lightweight. But this is what I'm going to back the main body of the fabric that I'm going to applique onto. A lot of people have trouble when they applique because they don't know that you need to stabilize that first piece of fabric. It's very clear that you need to fuse your fabrics down with something, but the piece that you're going to put it onto also needs help not puckering as you spin the fabric around and sew over it. So I have no idea what I'm going to make out of this, but I'm going to cut it bigger than I need to. I'll probably turn it into a pillow or a wall hanging or something. How to cut with limited space. I think I'm going to have to ground something so I don't short out my little button thing that lets me switch cameras quicker. Okay, so you only need to fuse an area big enough so that it's bigger than the applique is going to be. I'm going to incorporate a circle in here. I've been wanting to do this. I actually made this already, and then Crafter's Edge ended up getting my quilt. I ended up with one of theirs, and they ended up with one of mine, and we never got back together to swap them out. So I think I'm going to actually do half of this fabric, or iron or stabilize with the hold light. This is really slippery, so when it's on the bed of your machine, your fabric doesn't stick to the machine. You won't feel like that sticky feeling that you can get from other types of stabilizers. But you can also confuse this with plastic or something that you don't need to keep. So I would put it back in its baggie. This does come as a flat fold. This is also great for locking the stretch in stretchy fabrics for embroidery. And you can also draft a pattern on it and iron it onto fabrics that shred or fray, like lame or, come on, what's that other fabric? It's shiny. You could just look at it and you can see it fraying and falling apart on the edges. So you iron this to the fabric, then cut out your pattern and leave it fused onto it. And then you sew and then you tear it away afterward, and your fabrics don't end up having any trouble. You can also sew buttonholes on really, really open weave fabrics with this, like loose sweaters, and it holds it in place. And it's the only stabilizer I've been able to use an applique on lame without the lame shredding as the needle exits the fabric. Shiny side to the iron. And my brain has, I gotta stop saying that, I have a hard time remembering it. But I do. I'm gonna go this way. Should I do that? No, I'm gonna go this way. And have it, and just make a note to myself, note to self. The stabilizer is in the middle. And need my ironing surface. When we iron with this, we don't need a high heat. I wonder if the heat that's still on the iron will do it. No. So silk setting tends to be just fine. Depends on the iron as to whether or not you'll have to go warmer than that. But when you iron this, you'll immediately be able to tell that you have fused it, because it'll change its look. Do not use steam with this, because it will squirt the steam right on your body and you can burn yourself. So you should have the steam setting turned off so you don't habitually just click that steam and then burn yourself. So you can see how it's getting shiny. Or you can, why do you want to turn off? I just turned you on. This is just a sunbeam iron. I really like it though. I can do just about anything to it and it still works. I've lost count on how many times I've dropped it. And it doesn't leak water. I've spent a lot more on irons and been very disappointed with them. You guys are being so quiet. You're making me wonder if you're still there. Are you guys still there? If you're still there, do a thumbs up. It says I'm still streaming, so I must be still streaming. I think I'm going to go a little warmer. It's taking too long. So I'm going to wool. Somebody give me a thumbs up. It's like the chat broke. Maybe the chat needs to scroll down. Okay, thank you guys for thumbs up. It's weird how sometimes my cell phone will just kick out. Did you guys have that trouble? Have you ever been kicked out of the live feed and have to come back in? It's definitely bigger than I need. So I'm just going to cut this. I was going to go all the way to the half. Thank you for staying still there. What are you guys doing? Are you eating? Anybody sewing? What have you got on your sewing tables, you guys? I know what you got on your table. You are going to make the bag from last week, right? Hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. Yay. You don't want to have part of it peeling up, though. You know, make sure you seal it to the edges. Because it will peel off. It's not permanent. Although it is. It's permanent if it gets locked into a zigzag stitch. There we go. This is much bigger than I really should be bothering with. I got lint all over this, and all right. You're thinking about sewing? You know that's not the same as sewing. Well, there's a bunch of chase hair on here. I need to do a deep vacuuming in my sewing area. But mostly it's because I actually left this fabric on the floor and the dogs kind of made it into a makeshift bed last week or whenever I used it. Oh, when I made the dog walking bag. This is our stick and tear stabilizer that I use for embroidery. It's the frog. And it's also really good at cleaning up lint. Come on. Wow, that looks so striking in the video. Come on, fold it and fold it. All you need to do is get a little separation. There we go. Now, if you have a lint roller, go ahead and use your lint roller. I don't want you being distracted by all that hair. Some of it's batting as well. The bamboo batting flies in the air. It's one reason black fabric is not normally something that I do a lot of on film because of this. So Tina, what's on the back is the hold light. It's the hummingbird, the stabilizer with the hummingbird on the label. What I'm using to remove the lint is the tree frog, which is also what we use for embroidery. All right. That's good. Now I placed all of these with the shiny side or the fusible side on the actual surface. So I know that I'm right, but I'm still kind of feeling, and if I hadn't, this one would have been wrong. Oh, I wish you guys were here and you could tell me how to lay this all out. You do not want to find out you have the fusible side facing the iron, or you'll have a ring on your iron. A modern take on applique. Thumbs up if you like what I'm doing. Suggest. Do not hesitate to suggest. I could even do something like that. I kind of like them inside the circles. Got to integrate one of these in there too. What do you think? I know I'm not giving you guys much area to look at. Am I missing another purple? All right. One big circle, and what time is it? 4:30. 2.5 hours. I feel like they're kind of circling around. Kind of like the rings of Saturn, but not. There. Do you guys wish I could hear you? All right, so before I do this, I have to get this ready. And I am ready. So I'm going to show you how to use the Applique stabilizer. It's a single-sided fusible that's really soft. And it's under the stabilizers as well. And it's a good idea to have a damp cloth handy, which I thought I did. Got it all ready. It's not the prettiest rag though. One of my garage kind of rags. And I get it wet with water. Just a little damp. Good time to drink some water, you guys. Don't forget to hydrate. And this is to clean off your tools if you get any glue on your tools. And this is the side that you work on when you want to, if you look at these tools, they both have a pointed end. One has a more rounded tip, one has a pointier tip, and then this opposite side, this one is shaped like a spatula, and this is for scooping your fabric up, and mine has some glue on it because I didn't have a wet washcloth last time I used it. So now it's clean. And this forked end is like your two fingers, and so you don't have to use your two fingers. These are ergonomic. They make it more comfortable for you. You can rest your elbows on the table, and you go like that as a fork, and then you scoop the fabric up, and then you walk it around. As you come around and you want to spin it, you take the fork and you tip it like that, and you can then spin, except for in the middle, and then you can spin the fabric around, and all of that without getting your fingers dirty. I had her glue out. I know I have it up. I took it literally out so I would know right where it was. Did I put it in one of my cubbies? And when I use this type of applique, I use both glues, hers and mine. Where did it fall on the floor? It's round after all. Almost everything that's round ends up on the floor. So you guys gonna start counting to see how many times I say, what did I do with it? Where did it go on my show? Because I feel like I say it a lot every week. It's a glue stick and it's this long and it's white. Can you tell me if you see it out here? Let's see. I feel like that it might be just sitting really close to me. And I just can't see it. Did I put it in the machine? And I think this is the second one I've lost because I can't find the other one. And they come as a 2-pack. Definitely not fun when you can't find something that you already took out to make sure you wouldn't lose it. It's making me feel like I'm losing my mind because I'm going to have to take a new one. I do not like taking from our inventory. But I do not see it, so I will. I'll have to be right back again. But it won't take me very long. Just a couple steps away. Pardon me, sir. Where's Tink? She hasn't joined us. Sorry it took so long. I got worried about Tinkerbell. I haven't seen her in a while. She was actually sleeping in my bedroom, all happy. She's no dummy. She's like, you talk too loud and The lights are so bright. It's so much nicer to be in this dark space. So it comes in a box like this with 2 glue sticks, and they don't harden if you've had some harden before. And it's different than the yellow and pink ones that are being sold for needle turn applique, also known as patchwork applique, or I call it invisible applique. This one is a slow setting glue so that you have more time to work the fabric before it dries, and that is always a good thing. Let's see, here we go. So then you basically are going to go around the shape or the stabilizer that you're okay, we'll turn you off for now. Then you take the fork and then the spatula part. So you see your fingers would be getting dirty, but no, you don't have to get your fingers dirty. And I may not have put enough on there. As to, I wasn't liberal enough with it. Being clear, it's not as easy to see as the yellow and the pink. You did see it? You saw the glue somewhere? So I have no idea where I stuck it. These are actually a lot healthier than using your fingers. And you're able to get a really smooth contour going around. It's okay, I can give myself another bit of her glue. We're not at risk of selling out of that right now. We do import her products from Spain. So when I found Tink, she smiled and showed me her teeth. She did a full-on wide smile, and now I'm back in here. I think she thought I was done, and now she's like, oh man, she's not done. Oh, I remember now why I have the pad of paper. So you do the gluing on this page, and then you move your piece over and do your work on the other. And that's when you're working with little shapes. The shape's pretty big. Like if you were rubbing and you accidentally got the glue on the paper, well, you don't want to get it on the outside of your fabric. So whenever you see her, she'll always have a pad of paper that she works on, and that's why. Notice that I'm scooping, I'm not tipping my hand up. My hand is resting. My elbows are rested. So as I'm working, I'm really laying my elbows down, letting my shoulders relax. It's actually the most relaxed I've been since I started filming. There we go. So same as I'm always saying, elbows down, shoulders relaxed. Make sure that you're comfortable, so you're not feeling the strain of your muscles. we're about to switch to the close-up camera and I'm going to do a little sewing, but I did not promise to finish the sewing today. It's a good time to ask questions if any of you have any questions. So the reason I'm doing this is so that the edges are all folded under. I'm like imagining I smell food. That's so funny. I think it's because the iron is hot. It's not melting anything, is it? Oh, it got that foam a little bit warm, so it's definitely not food. I must be hungry to think that burning foam is food. Have any of you done any of this type of work? I know that we have dies for the berries. So if you have to cut a bunch of little circles, we have the big and the small. It's one die set and it's a whole bunch of different little circles with the outer ring and the inner circle in one. So now I have time to look around and go, is there any area that needs to be smoothed? Like this is coming to a little bit of a point right here. So I have the ability to still move that. Isn't that something to be able to go that long? And she uses these little points. Now you know what the little points are for. And know that Rosa, the inventor of these, she does 1/4 inch diameter circles with these. Went out to dinner with her once and she threw a bunch of 1/4 inch little circles on the table and just sat there for me to respond. And I picked them up and I could see that all of the edges were curled under, but they were only 1/4 inch. So that one is now ready to be adhered onto the fabric. And instead of using her glue, ours holds better for positioning the actual shapes onto the fabric. I have a little heart. So we have 2 hearts. All right, now the stressful part, figuring out where everything's gonna go. I have more circles, but there's a limit to the time I want to spend. Should I have them like cross over a little bit? Oh, it's so hot in here. I need to turn on the air conditioner. Should I forget the hearts or use the hearts? Should I just keep it circles only? Decisions. I think it looks cool no matter what I do. It's just one of those, something about it. Be good for kids' room, huh? You could do all the planets. I feel like a little splash. Should I keep that? Keep that or lose that. You could do a K or an L, or it could do. I don't know. I think I'm going to lose that. Definitely no hearts. I don't. What do you think? Hearts or no hearts? Ah. You guys aren't helping. Does that look kind of neat? Having one shape over here and the other shape over there that's not circles? Yes or no? Come on, you guys. Are any of you there? I know Eve has been there. I wonder if I just need to scroll down on this again. Nope, you guys are all really quiet. That's all right. You're gonna make me make up my own mind. I'm kind of liking that, but I definitely can't do it until I first secure the big circle. So now that I have an idea of what I'm going to do, I am going to center this circle. And use our liquid base to secure this piece down. I agree. So we're just going to do the circles. Besides, it's unrealistic to think I'm going to finish all the sewing today anyway. All I really need to do is make sure that the edges are secured. I agreed with you, Eve. I'll bet more people agreed. Now, whenever I use the glue, I usually like just kind of slide a little bit to even it out with my fingers and then put it down. And then I don't push hard on that. All right, now I also will have it on the back side of Fusible applique to keep it from moving. And I kind of want it to go there. I think I like them being off center. And I'm going to do a few dots around this so that it doesn't stick to the iron in any way. Definitely like a decisions. It's amazing I can figure out what to wear. Oh, if I can only remember what I did. Got like a bouncing ball kind of feeling. It's going to be fun to quilt, to go around that. I wish I could hear you guys. Should I keep them in the circles? I should, huh? So it kind of looks like it's on a lot. It's falling off. Now it's almost off, and then this one's off. Too much continuity, you guys? That's it. I'm going to do that because I'm starting to get frustrated with myself. I'm being too quiet for me. This was a die cutting lesson. Now it's turned into a modern quilt design lesson. I kind of like how this one's random and different. Remember, this is just to position them and have them not slip when the iron is used, because there's Fusible on this. This one's escaping. All right, that's what it's going to be, because I decided. Now we want a cotton setting. And I use steam. And if the liquid based is wet under this, it will dry instantly from the iron. And in this case, I don't want to iron, I want to press. So we just lift and press. And really, there's hold light on the bottom, so we should not be using steam. And the hold light is a solid, and it will kick the steam right back up at us. Are you guys having fun? This is a unique thing for me, isn't it? And I had absolutely no idea what I was going to do this one today on the live. But then my son got all the dies on our site, and I went, you know what? I don't have to cut because it cuts for me. I think we have a winner. It's definitely hot. And now I can iron because it's fused, and it is our fuse infused, so these little points do not curl up on you. Using cotton setting though. Turn this iron off so it doesn't beep. This time I'm not putting it anywhere near that foam. Cool? It's a little bit cool. I can do circular designs on this, on the quilting. So you still want me to use a foot for the applique. I'm going to cut it down the middle. I don't need all this. It's going to be 2 pieces. You guys are so quiet today. Is anybody still there? The issue with this is that this is too small to form a stitch on that and have the stitch not take over. And while I want the stitch to be visible, I think I'm going to go ahead and use the Invisifill thread, or maybe the Deco Bob thread. I could use invisible thread as well and just do a straight stitch around. But someone said blanket stitch, right? So I'm going to use a Satinedge Foot, not to be mistaken with Satinedge Foot. Satinedge Foot is one of my feet. And if I only knew where it was. Come on, where did you go? Because we could use the Octi-Hoops, you know, and no foot at all. How many people do you watch that let you tell them what to do? What a fun project. Ooh, this would be kind of fun to use pearl cotton on. Boy, the fuzz in this room. I already cleaned this off. So this is the Satinedge Foot, and it comes packaged like you see here. And it has this little wire inside the zigzag opening. And this nut, when you turn it, it changes the location of the wire or guide pin that it sticks out of the guide itself, and it has this deep channel beneath it, allowing you to do thick body of thread. So you can use it for satin stitching. Trying to get to where you can see that. It also guides the fabric for you, pretty much. I think I have a 16 needle in here from playing with the denim. The nice thing about using the Deco Bob or the Invisifill is I can go down to a really small needle. And the smaller the needle, the smaller the hole that you create in your material. This is a 68 size needle. Super, super small. Oh, what should I use? What color? With 60 colors of thread, what do you do when you can't decide? Got to make sure I have Invisifill though, because a thicker thread will not perform well through such a small needle. First thing I'm going to do is invisible and go around the big circle. Or I could really show the thread on the, but that's all about being invisible. So I'm using our smoke. This is our smoke invisible, and it's nylon, not polyester. It melts at 500 degrees. Cotton burns at 250. So you can iron over it without any problem. An invisible thread is so small that you can use it in any needle, including the 8. This is also the universal needle, so it has a light ball point. But this is an 8 needle, and the needle threader on your machine, I believe, is not designed to go through the eye of that needle. So I'm going to thread that by hand. because I am not wanting my needle threader to become damaged. But everything in me wants to use the needle threader. Time to get my glasses. Sorry about that reach. If you can't see the thread to thread it, you can write on it with a marker. I should just show you that. So you just lay the thread down on the paper and write on it with a colored marker. It works for clear thread as well. And now it has like a yellowish hue. Hope you can see. I have things in front of me that are making me want to tip my head to one side. Come on. There we go. My hands look really dry, and that's because I had the glue on my fingers, hers and mine. So wipe it off so you don't get grossed out by your own dry looking skin and find out it's really not. But I'm also gonna moisturize a little bit. The camera is super close, I'll tell you what. Now if you like hand sewing, you could hand sew this. But I prefer to use a zigzag stitch, and I go all the way down to a 1 width. The Satinedge Foot lets me do that, or helps me to see. In the instructions that come with the Creative Feet, Invisible Applique is the settings that you're looking for. No matter how you buy the foot, it comes with the invisible applique technique in the little booklet that's inside of the package. Or if you have our book, it's a whole chapter in our book. The Creative Feet Technical Guide and Workbook is what I'm referring to. We also have a video. Between the book and the video, there are 88 things you can do with the 3 Creative Feet. One swing is going to go on the applique, and the other swing is going on the applique. Did I say both? Did I say on and on? And we don't want the needle to swing over the wire. In this case, the needle swings left of the wire. And if you have a knot stitch, I'm going to use a knot stitch. My eye is not focused back here at the needle, it's focused here, and I'm going to keep bringing the fabric back to the guide. Now I'm going to tie a knot. A way to do this faster would have been to stitch the large circle completely, then apply the other ones afterward. Now that I am to this point, tie a knot. This is only like 2 stitches, and then we tie a knot. Lift and hop. Tying another knot. I'm really far away from my sewing machine with a microphone and a light to help you guys see. Lift and move again. And the opening in the foot is really big, so that's why you don't see me wanting to lower my needle all the time. The reason I didn't use the needle threader, Ellen, is because the opening in the eye of the needle is actually narrower than the needle threader, and you'll bend your needle threader by trying to thread a needle this small. This is an 8 needle. And just to show you how I am positioned, first off, there's the microphone here and another light in front of it. And it's a ring light, but I always like look through the hole as if there's a magnifying glass there, but there isn't. So I'm using my glasses, and I'm about 4 inches further away from the fabric than I would like to be, but it allows me to not look at the needle. Instead, I look at the front of the foot. So this is my posture. Elbows are down, shoulders relaxed, and I'm trying not to get my head in front of the camera, which, since I'm focused on the front-facing camera, I'm able to sit with my head tipped a little bit, but you don't want to do that. You want to make sure you're centered with the foot and centered with your needle. You shouldn't sit off to the side like I am in order to sew. And here we go, back to the close. The instinct will be to put your hands down like that, but you hinder the feeding of the fabric. We always want our sewing machine to determine the stitch length, not us. Hi, Susan. I love how you guys apologize for being late. It's so cute. All right, tie a knot. Lift and hop and lower it again. And I know I'm off the edge because the wire or the guide pin is off the edge. Tie a knot. There's definitely one time you don't want to skip the tying knot thing. If you don't have a machine with a knot stitch, then you just leave your tails long, pull them through to the back side. One swing on, one swing off. And if you are like, well, I can't see a stitch, that's the whole point of this, is not only are we using a stitch that's tiny, but we're also using an invisible thread, because the goal is to not see a stitch when you're finished. To make it appear that I sewed a big circle in a circle-shaped hole with a perfect 1/4 inch seam allowance, yeah, you know, because I'm that good. Now, if you really want to mess with people, you cut the back fabric away, and so both fabrics are cut 1/4 inch. And then people are really confused if they've never seen the applique process of doing that. And if this were a quilt, I would definitely cut that back fabric away so that there isn't a spot that is thicker than the rest of the overall quilt, unless I want this fabric to be raised. If I want this fabric to be raised, then I can cut from behind and stuff it and make it puff out, making it look even more planetary. I need my little scissors. I don't like reaching across that camera. Here we go. I'm not hearing myself anymore, which is making me nervous. There we go. This is definitely not a thread to drop on the ground. I grab it and I make it into a little ball, and I make sure it goes in the trash. because it's invisible. And I'm going to cut all my carryover threads as well. Well, I'll cut the rest in a minute. I'm going to finish going around and then try to show you a really good close-up of this. Okay, tie knot. I think this is where I began. You can't see it because I'm on the front camera. There we go. I think I started here, so I only have this and this to do. And then we're on the colored thread. Just tie a knot. And a knot. Oh, well, now you know, Ellen, that that's why you couldn't thread your needle. And hopefully you didn't bend it. It's kind of a frustrating thing to discover. If you ever do bend your needle threader, they can replace it. It's just a little tiny hook, but this thread is, or this needle should only be used with silk thread that's fine, invisible, or our Invisifill and our Deco Bob. Nothing heavier than that. Another use for an 8 needle is fine sewing through chiffon and materials that you don't want to have a large hole. You still want that universal tip, that rounded tip, so it doesn't tear the fabric. Got carryover stitches here. Better to remove those stitches now. If I can. It's such a small space. So remember, if you decide to do this, the big circle should be stitched before you apply your appliques. There would be no carryover stitches. It would be stronger. Okay, another one. So I don't know if you can see the stitch or not, but you're not supposed to be able to see it. So if you can't see it, well, then I did it right. I don't know. I think I'm going to stop. No, I'm just kidding. Tease. What color thread should I use? There's one hair coming back into my eye, unless that's invisible thread. Sometimes when I would do a show, frequently actually, people like to tease me, and they would lay a piece of invisible thread over my head, and then I would find it stuck to me. So, ooh. I have this thread I wanted to test, but there's no way I'd put this through an 8. This is Wonderful's metallic. It's very thin. Everything I know tells me no. Not an 8. But boy, do I think that would be good. So I'm going to up my needle because it's definitely would shred the thread, and why frustrate yourself? So how? A 70-10 would still be iffy, but it's definitely going to fit in the groove of the needle. So I think I'm going to try a 70-10. I just happen to have one. And notice I put the other one back because I barely used it, so it certainly has more life in it. And I always grab, just to help you to know how I keep track of my needles. I always grab the left needle and work my way to the right. That way I know if I used a needle before, this will be the one that would be most likely to be the oldest needle. A 70-10 is still questionably, the eye itself may be too small to use the needle threader. And they probably warn you in the instruction manual that you probably never read. This is the thread I want to use. And this is pretty fine. It's really, really fine. You can see it against the foot. It's so thin I can barely show you. But that's what we want. We don't want a lot. We don't want a really thick thread because this is just narrow. And I may just use a straight stitch. I don't know. We'll see. I got lots of stitches to choose from. When you have like 1,000 stitches in your machine, it's hard to just use a straight stitch. So I'm hoping before next Thursday that I will have time to film the unboxing video of the Eversewn machine that we're adding to our site. And then I will be using it on the set for a while so that you guys can see that I do like the machine and I'm using it, and then you'll know that you're, seeing that it is as good as I say it is. I just love this thread. They knew which color to send me. And we're testing it because we're going to be adding a metallic to our site. And I've been disappointed with a lot of metallic threads. Have any of you had trouble? Now, this is really taking it or challenging the thread to use a 10 needle when I generally use a 14 for metallic thread just to prevent it from getting shredded from the hook assembly, because metallic thread must fit in the groove going down the face of the needle. If it doesn't, then it grabs on the surface of the material and then it comes too close to the back of the needle, and then that hook assembly will snag the metallic thread, and then the take up lever that goes up and down on the front of your machine pulls that thread back out of the eye of the needle. And then when it comes back through again, because your thread does go in and out of the needle like 5 times before the stitch is actually applied to the fabric. And then it looks like it's shredding on top, and it looks like it must be the top that's making it shred, but it's really the bottom that made it shred. But it's the top that caused the problem. And this is why you guys can get confused. So wish me luck on threading this one, because I'm not going to use my needle threader. I only use the needle threader for an 80-12 on up. But we need the needle threader for the little needles. Just imagine the hook that they use for the needle threader is so tiny, and it has to actually curl. So to bend something and then have it go through and grab the thread, it's a bigger hook than you might think. All right. I'm going to start on the, what the heck. Well, there's a hair that won't go away. I'm going to leave this one on the stitch that I was using so that you can see what the stitch looked like, because you couldn't see it. We'll see how it does. Got to remember what stitch I'm using. I'm not going to go really short on the length. So this is a 1 millimeter wide zigzag stitch. And you just keep bringing the fabric back to the guide. And I am watching the needle this time because I'm seeing if the thread's shredding. But it's really not good to do that unless you like driving yourself crazy. Looks like I could take my tension down to 3. I can hear it going through the stabilizer, which indicates that the thread is actually rubbing against that stabilizer. And now I'll let you guys see. Why does it sound like that? Looks like it's doing well. It's amazing. This is a very small stitch for, or I mean, this metallic is performing much better than I thought. I'm getting hungry. It's starting to pull, but that's because it's stuck on something. Well, it did what a lot of metallic threads do. And it twisted and created a loop, and it got caught on my eye hook on my thread dispenser. To help metallic threads not tangle like that, I still go through that first eye hook, and then I take the thread off of my post on my thread dispenser and come around the post once, making sure that there aren't any other bobbin threads hanging down and about ready to go for a ride and connect to that. So I'm making sure there's nothing that that thread can grab, because it's got a rough surface. So now I can see that nothing is hindering it, so should be able to go. That's why it was sounding louder. By the way, I did write an article on our threads that we carry right now, a blog that will be on our Beyond the Stitches blog at creativefeet.com. This is outside of the school. This is just at our website. We have a blog, and I'm trying to do one a month, an article style blog on different items and based on your questions. And a lot of people were wondering, why do I want this thread versus that thread? When do I use Invisifil, and when do I use Polyfast, and when do I use Deco Bobbin? Can I use it in the needle? And what's nylon thread? Now you got lingerie thread, and you got invisible thread, and so each one has like a paragraph to help you to understand which thread. So be sure, it's not up there yet, but it will be in a couple days. Well, if you're watching this after April 29th of 2021, well, it's up there, and you can search. You can type in thread in the search, because if you're watching this a year from now, well, there'll be a lot of blog posts on our blog. Okay, this is when you can't get your head in front of the camera. Got my glasses on. There's some polyester threads that are too slippery. They're just so slippery that they also behave badly, and I have to do that and place the thread on the thread dispenser and then bring it around. So I'm going to cut this thread. It's distracting. One millimeter wide zigzag stitch. That is really small, you guys. The foot helps the guiding. I have this bowl stopping the fabric from feeding. My cozies, or whatever you call them. Guess what I found? Yep, I found it. And okay, tie knot. I never use my scissors to cut my thread when using metallic thread either, or the side cutter on your machine, because metallic thread is very abrasive and it will wear it out prematurely. I don't know if you can see that tiny little zigzag. I gotta go around. Now we're gonna go the opposite way. I'm kind of bored with this stitch, but I think it'll look weird to do a different stitch pattern on the same ring. What's going on? It's all blurry, right? Oh, I'm looking at the TV and it's too far away, and I have magnifying glasses on. So it looked really blurry, as it should, because magnifying glasses are for looking up close. Okay, this is, remember, a 10 needle, so this should not even be doing it. I lowered the needle on the inside swing because my circle is going inside. So it's always the inside swing when you're going on an inverted circle, or I can't think of the right word. Still have not had a shredding. This would definitely be easier with a straight stitch, and our Fuse and Fuse will hold up after washing even. So you can do straight stitch, raw edge applique. No shredding, you guys. So you're seeing me test it live. Part of what I'm doing though is I have it on my thread dispenser, so I wouldn't put this on a spool holder on your regular sewing machine. And my pressure is reduced, by the way. This is the Satinedge Foot. While it's not a satin stitch foot, it still has a wide opening, but instead of having a complete opening, being completely spread apart, it still has the cross section that holds the fabric down for you. So you won't have as much trouble with your thread because the foot holds the fabric down for you, unlike a traditional satin stitch foot where there's just not enough holding of the fabric, which causes the issues I said earlier about the thread grabbing the fabric. Okay, and tie knot. I can hear the roughness of it. It slipped out of something. All right. It's caught on something. Oh, that stupid bobbin winding cutting thing that Baby Lock puts on their bobbin winder. Am I sounding grumpy? That sounded a little grumpy, I think. So the Baby Lock and Brother machine, the newer models, they made the thing that you put your bobbin on a cutter to cut your thread. Well, since I'm using my thread stand and bringing thread over, sometimes it gets caught on there, and that's what just happened. But luckily I got away with it, because it should have caused all kinds of problems. I was paying attention and looking for any thread issues, which is a good idea when you're working with metallic thread, to just kind of, be aware. So now I have to decide what to do with the rest of it, because I'm starving and it's almost 6. And honestly, I feel like I've shown you enough, because it was really just about cutting. And I think I am. I think I'm going to call it done. For today. And someday, when I feel like it, I will bring this back out and do the quilting. But I will finish the applique before I go live with that. Probably, maybe, I don't know. The crunching noise is the hold light that's on the back, stabilizing the main body of fabric, keeping it from getting any puckers. So yep, this was about dies, not about sewing a complete project. And I think that I explained everything pretty well. Do any of you have any questions about, now you see why a die cut is a good idea, especially when you're dealing with cutting something consistently like this. And wasn't it cool how I was able to cut these rings by simply stacking 3 circles on each other? Did you guys like the lesson? Do you have any questions? I'm hungry. Looks done to you? Thank you, Amy. I'm trying to see if there's any questions. You read your entire instruction manual, Amy? Did you remember? Oh, you forgot most of it. It's kind of like taking a test. Just remember that this video, after I'm finished, will be immediately available to watch if you're jumping in now. And I hope that you will join me next Thursday for season 2, episode 18, because this was 17. So we're on 17 weeks straight for this year. And all of the episodes are located inside of my school, which I can tag again here for any of you that may be lurking. And know that even if you haven't chatted, you can click on this link. And I know some of you are just shy. Oh, the air conditioner just finally kicked on all by itself. That tells you how hot it is in here. Yeah, the hold light is not quiet to work with, but it really does yield beautiful results for a backing. I was going to show you. The next thing I'm uploading is probably the inking. And the VIPs, you'll have access to the entire inking, which is, I believe, 12 hours of inking. You want me to ink something next week? I'll actually be uploading a pre-recorded video of the... Let's see. I'm going to bring it down so you guys can see it really good up close, and then I'll end. If I can figure out how to do that. This took 12 hours, you guys. So that's a 12-hour complete video. And the VIP group will have access to the entire 12 hours. I didn't talk for a large portion of it. So we'll have music for you for part of it, but it's super fun. This is something I did on a rock, and I basically decided to do what I did on my rock on fabric. I was like, I really liked it on the rock, but I was like, oh my goodness, how can I do that on fabric? Wouldn't that be so much fun to stitch around those little fish? And so I did. If you want to be sure to catch all of my videos, my live videos, in addition to pre-recorded videos, be sure to subscribe to my channel if you've yet to do so. I sure hope you'll do that. And if you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. After we're done going live, the chat ends, but then there's the thumbs up. If you can hit the thumbs up afterward, that would be really great to let YouTube know that you enjoyed the live feed. Who is shy in this group? Trust me, there's a lot of people watching, and only a few of you participate. There's quite a few people that lurk, we call them lurkers, behind the scenes and don't participate in the chat. So those of you who are doing that, you're able to click on that link. It'll take you right to the school where you can lurk as well. And the school is free unless you want to be part of the VIP group. And let's see, I'm going to quilt this at some point. Yes, I am. I'm almost nervous to quilt through it, though, because I like it already the way it is without any stitching. So are you guys going to be around? Are you going to be a part of the community of my creatives so you don't miss out on learning this kind of stuff? And know that all of the inks that I used for this, some of them are already at creativefeet.com, and others will be posted to our site very soon, along with the new Eversewn machine that I will be uploading a unboxing video very soon. There we go. I think I'm done because I'm starting to repeat. And none of you are asking any questions. Thank you, Tina. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate you guys so much. I hope you enjoy your dinners, that you sleep well tonight, and that you are inspired, that you are ready to tackle some of the techniques you saw. And if you have any questions regarding any of the dies or any of this stuff that I covered, feel free to reach out in the school or email info@creativefeet.com. So, all right, you guys. Love you all. I got stuff in the way from my smooth ending.